Heroes were always a big part of my life. That should come easy since I do the things I do. But a hero is only as good as his villain, and James Bond has a couple of the most memorable villains of cinema. And today I thought we should take a closer look to those I consider to be the top 10 best Bond villains. In my book, I think villains can be defined with either two traits. This is obviously a simplification, but let's do it anyway. 1. The villain can have a sympathetic motive so that their actions make sense, since most evil people don't think of themselves as evil, and a good villain needs a motive or excuse, if you will, to act the way they do. A good example can be Mr. Freeze. He is a terrific villain since the retcon back in the 90s. He wants revenge on the people responsible for his wife's death and his own condition.
To never again walk on a summer's day with a hot wind in your face. Oh yes, I'd kill for that.
Or, the villain can simply be pure evil and not really have a personal motive to do the things they do, except money, power, or other material things. But in order for that to work, the villain must have a fantastic personality to lean on. The perfect example I can think of would be the Emperor from Return of the Jedi. He is so goddamn evil, and he loves it.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
So when I rank the following, I will be judging the villain upon these criteria. 1. The villain's personality. 2. The villain's plan. 3. The villain's henchman. And 4. The villain's lair. I'm not gonna go through each criteria for each villain. If I believe a villain misses out on a criteria, I will simply skip it to save time. So without further ado, let's get into my best Bond villains. Raoul Silva. Silva serves the plot and overall theme of Skyfall really well. As Bond recovers from a near-death experience and is working his way back, Silva proves to be more than a match for Bond. Him being a discarded former MI6 agent, very similar to how Bond was expendable in the opening of the film, he seeks revenge on M for that very purpose. His lair is pretty cool. Being the tech wizard that he is, he made the inhabitants of the island think there was a crisis going on, and after they left, he just moved in like he owned the place. It's not an aesthetically pleasing lair, but it makes sense for someone like Silva to inhabit it. Eliot Carver. This guy has a wonderful personality. A bit of fresh air, if you like. His plan is to create bad news through destabilization and then report on them through his media empire. He resides within a stealth boat roaming around the Chinese waters, and his henchmen are also very memorable. Dr. Kaufman and Richard Stamper are also very fun to watch. I wish Kaufman was in the movie longer, but the scene he served in is one of the best in the entire franchise, so I'll give it a pass. Alec Trevillian. Trevelyan, like Silva, is a former MI6 agent, but the difference is that he knew Bond personally before faking his death and going rogue. He seizes control of one of Russia's most top-secret Cold War weapons, called the GoldenEye satellite, which emits a powerful EMP. He intends to target the major banks of London with the EMP, so that he can steal billions and get away scot-free. His top henchman, or henchwoman I should say, is Xenia Onatop, who enjoys violence and death to such a degree that she gets off on it. Her trademark skill is erotic asphyxiation. A bit odd, yes, but also memorable. Blofeld. James Bond's nemesis, the leader of Spectre. Who can forget the cat-stroking Ernst Stavro Blofeld? Now, Blofeld is pretty special since he returns several times in the series, so I'm gonna try and narrow it down. My two favorite Blofelds are Donald Pleasence in You Only Live Twice and Anthony Dawson / Eric Poilman in From Russia with Love. Blofeld remains unseen in that movie, which is to his great benefit. His chilling voice tells you that he is in command. Period. His face isn't revealed until You Only Live Twice, where Donald Pleasence has the role. Due to Blofeld appearing in several movies, he does have several henchmen at his disposal. Mr. Grant, Rosa Klebb, Hans, and so on. Mr. Grant and Klebb are awesome when on screen, Kleb being the super strict counterintelligence chief, and as soon as she's in the same room as Blofeld, she just freezes, further adding to his dread. And let's not forget his lair, one of the most ambitious sets in the history of filmmaking. Blofeld resides inside a hollowed-out volcano in Asia, which also serves as a launching platform for his special space aircraft, which he intends to use to hijack both US and Soviet spacecrafts, starting a war between the two nations. Electra King. Electra King was a twist villain who revealed herself to be plotting to overload a nuclear reactor and destroy Istanbul with its oil pipelines, leaving Electra's pipelines uncontested. Electra works with Renard, who is first thought to be the main bad guy of the film, since he kidnapped Electra when she was younger. It is presumed that she developed Stockholm Syndrome during her captivity, but as it turns out, Renard has actual affection for Electra and will stop at nothing to complete her plan. That duo is pretty cool. Maxwell Zorin. Zorin is one of the craziest Bond villains in the entire roster. He plans to use strategically placed bombs in order to flood Silicon Valley and gain monopoly on the microchip industry. His plan, while cool, is just a lesser version of what Lex Luthor intends to do in the first Superman movie starring Christopher Reeve. His henchwoman is Mayday, played by Grace Jones, and she is both ferocious and beautiful at the same time. I cannot speak enough well words about Grace Jones as Mayday. Francisco Scaramanga. Christopher Lee brings forth a very memorable Bond villain, the hitman who can't be matched, aka the man with a golden gun. When someone like that is sent to take out Bond, you know it's gonna be a wild ride. He simply enjoys the sport and has plans to take over one of his employer's empire through solar energy. His hideout is one of the most beautiful locations in the entire franchise, with private beaches, a shooting gallery, a junk. On his private island, Scaramanga also has a manservant named Knick-Knack who plots to kill him in order to take over. Despite that, he is still very loyal in other cases. It makes for a very interesting matchup. Hugo Drax. Drax is the better version of Karl Stromberg. They share their plans, lairs, and even henchmen, both wanting to purge the world of impure and create a perfect society. Stromberg doing so underwater, and Drax doing so in space. This is the more calm and collected type of Bond villain, yet towards the end, when his plan starts to fall asunder, he amps it up a few notches, almost to the point of going unhinged. Let's not forget that Drax has Jaws under his command, and every Bond fan knows about Jaws, the 7-feet-tall henchman with steel teeth that can bite through anything. What's not to like here? As for his lair, he has his own freaking space station, complete with laser defense systems and everything. Le Chiffre. This guy is genuinely scary. Mostly because it's Mads Mikkelsen who plays him, but he has a great aura around him. He is the first villain in a new and more grounded era of Bond films, and he manages to execute that flawlessly. Any other villain on this list has something enjoyable or fun about them that makes you want to watch them. This guy is fun to watch, but for a completely different reason. He's a banker and a terrorist financier. He bets his investors' money on a airline company going broke, then staging a terrorist attack on that airliner so that his stock will go up. After Bond puts a stop to this, Le Chiffre must set up a high-stakes poker game to regain his money in order to pay his investors back. That's easy, you got motivation right there. And his demeanor is just so imposing. This guy will cut off your face the first chance he gets. And at the number 1 spot, we have Auric Goldfinger. Goldfinger is simply the perfect Bond villain. He has a great personality, going from soft-spoken businessman to sleazy, dare I say, bastard. This guy has easily the best scheme of them all. First, we are led to believe that he intends to steal gold from Fort Knox. but then it is revealed that he intends to radiate it, rendering it useless, therefore increasing the value of his own gold and give his Chinese partners an economic advantage. And his henchman, Oddjob, a Korean mute who acts as Goldfinger's caddy, driver and bodyguard. Oddjob's gimmick is his trademark hat that has a circular blade embedded in the brim of the top hat that he can then throw to decapitate someone. And I guess that concludes my list. I hope you all enjoyed watching this. I enjoy anything Bond related, so making this video was a pure pleasure. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.